You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.
Want your boss to put some real action behind the rhetoric when they talk about making your workplace more inclusive? Find out how to hold their feet to the fire and demand diversity on the Diversity Dude podcast.
Hello there, and welcome to the Diversity Dude podcast, recognized as one of the top 100 diversity and inclusion podcasts in the U.S. I'm your host, Lambert Fisher, marriage and family therapist, award-winning author, and national speaker on the topic of multicultural awareness and diversity. And whether it be through my one-on-one relationship building efforts as a therapist or my informing and empowering efforts as an author and speaker, know that my personal mission is to do my part to improve the world, one strengthened relationship at a time. Now, today I'd like to share a few thoughts about Cheyenne Bryant's impact on cultural distrust in mental health. So, in recent news, self-proclaimed relationship and psychology expert, life coach, and motivational speaker Cheyenne Bryant has been the topic of many conversations regarding the controversy over her professional credentials. Cheyenne Bryant uses the title of doctor despite not being able to provide proof of her doctoral degree, and she calls herself a therapist without possessing a state-issued license to practice therapy. Some of the conversations being held today highlight her less than satisfactory efforts to reassure people of her legitimacy, which many believe lessened her credibility in the eyes of others rather than strengthening it. Many other conversations highlight the negative impact of her yet to be proven assertions and defensive responses on the entire mental health profession. And it is here where I would like to add a healthy perspective to the conversations that are being had and the perspectives that are being developed as a result. For I have no desire to simply repeat what many have already said, and I definitely have no desire to bash or badmouth Cheyenne Bryant herself. However, acknowledging the reality that many have and will unfortunately draw conclusions that may impact their openness to trusting her, as well as trusting any mental health professional they may one day need, I would like to share a few healthy thoughts worth considering as it relates to Cheyenne Bryant's impact on cultural distrust in mental health. Consideration number one is this: cultural distrust in mental health didn't start with Cheyenne Bryant. There's a long history of cultural distrust in the mental health field. First, cultural distrust extends to many professions, with a common sentiment being we, whoever the cultural group is, don't talk to, confide in, or otherwise share our business with those outside of our culture. And this sentiment is shared by many marginalized cultural groups. This is in part due to longstanding cultural traditions and beliefs being regarded as with wisdom inside the group and valued with practices that will be employed to make decisions and solve problems and more that are unfortunately not viewed the same when cultural perspectives and practices differ. Their values and practices have been historically minimized and devalued at best, or at worst, somehow used against them. This tendency can understandably lead to a tendency to maintain a belief that we can only trust like minded individuals, and in many ways, like minded practices to truly have our best interest in mind. For many, this has led to avoiding things like hospitals at all or any medical care, for those practices can be distrusted in a way, no matter how much physical pain they may be experiencing. Or for many others, this has led to the avoidance of anything related to professional mental health care, no matter how much mental or emotional distress they may be experiencing. Not only that, but since the mental health field, much like most of the mental health, overall healthcare system, was not originally designed with marginalized groups in mind, that caution is in many ways justified. Thankfully, mental health professionals and many other healthcare professionals like myself are making intentional efforts to thoroughly explore every aspect of our professional mental health efforts, ready to modify and customize them to meet a variety of cultural needs beyond those they may have been originally intended to meet. As a result, those who are willing to take the risk have been very much rewarded by culturally competent care, maximizing the pros of the mental health profession while actively working to reduce its cons. As this is an ongoing effort, there remains an ongoing need to maintain the highest standard possible to reduce unnecessary new cautions preventing people from getting the care that they need in this increasingly stressful world. Which brings me to consideration number two. Cheyenne Bryant and other supporters of hers must be open to validating the cautions of her doubters. One of the most unfortunate aspects of the recent controversy Cheyenne Bryant finds herself in is seeing her express her frustration at the continued onslaught of accusations coming her way. Whether you believe her assertions or not, we must remember that she is a human being. And none of us would want to wake up to being the target of international attacks on our integrity or credibility. Not only does it not feel great, but it is likely something that has implications on her professional livelihood as a whole, and thus can be admittedly scary because the stakes are so high. That being said, many of her efforts to quote unquote set the record straight have included both efforts to provide arguments to justify her lack of factual proof, which have not been as conclusive as she seemed to have hoped, as well as counter allegations that anyone challenging her credibility must have ulterior motives. For example, when challenging her lack of proof of her doctoral degree, she insinuated that only undereducated people don't understand how her degree and dissertation could be inaccessible, despite many proven educated individuals arguing to the contrary. And when challenged on her lack of therapist license, she insinuated that only people focused on diagnosing or billing promote and obtain licensure. This is one of the central reasons why she has experienced so much controversy. Because if believed, her efforts to defend herself and her own credibility would have essentially minimized the legitimacy of an entire field of mental health care, making it harder than it already was to reassure individuals, couples, and families and communities everywhere that they have genuine intentions and motivations in their efforts. They care about the person more so than diagnosis and billing, and that their degree and license can increase rather than decrease the trust. Again, without having definitive proof either way of the truthfulness or the falsehood of her claims, my only hope for Cheyenne would be that instead of judging those who seek understanding and who experience confusion when she discusses having taken a different path to her expertise than that which they were accustomed, that she would instead offer understanding of their confusion regarding what she may not be able to offer proof of, and reassure them regarding what she does have to offer in her experience. Which brings me to consideration number three. Focus on what you do have to offer, not on what you don't. One thing that has confused many in Cheyenne's defense of her apparent contradiction in both asserting that she does have a doctoral degree, resenting the need to improve it, to prove it, while simultaneously asserting that her wisdom doesn't come from her degree. It comes from life lessons having been learned from her experiences. In addition, many see a contradiction between her claiming to be a therapist without holding the license that the mental health profession uses as a standard for using that title, while simultaneously devaluing the legitimacy of licenses as a tool for only diagnosing and billing. Interestingly, I agree that wisdom doesn't only come from textbooks, research, and the sum total of what goes into obtaining an academic doctoral degree. Many people can recount having learned significant life lessons from someone in their lives who never obtained an education degree. Many people can also recount having been led to significant spiritual enlightenment experiences from people who never went to seminary. And yet, there's a consistent standard for what a profession in certain fields, like mental health, is expected to know because of their advanced degree, before they even add life lessons and experiences learned from their own unique experiences. And there are consistent standards, ethical guidelines intended to protect those who vulnerably seek out mental health care. Standards of accountability meant to further protect individuals seeking that care, all designed to increase trust, maintain safety, and ensure quality care. This is why asserting that proof of degrees or professional licenses doesn't matter is scary, because it reduces rather than increases trust in a field that is becoming increasingly necessary every day. Instead, an accessible alternative is to simply focus on what she does have to offer rather than what she doesn't. Instead of trying to benefit from the open doors and open ears that an unproven degree or title of doctor may bring, she can instead focus on the quality of the content that she has to offer and the valid wisdom that she can share. You may have had a bad history of people looking down on you for your title of life coach, which currently has no licensed standard offering reassurance that many may seek. But this is where you can put your focus on letting the effectiveness of your results speak for you, with testimonials from individuals asserting that despite the lack of degree or license, that you offer wisdom and insight in a way that many have benefited from and many others can likely benefit from in the future. In doing so, people can have a choice to pursue licensed and degree mental health professionals, knowing what they'll get due to standards regulating their fields and their efforts, or seeking help from alternative professionals who have testimonials confirming their potential effectiveness. This is a choice between minimizing those who seek confirmation and validating multiple options people have to choose from, with different things that they can get from each, and letting people choose based on their comfort level and risk tolerance. With all that being said, my hope for you is that you will be able to, one, see and have compassion for Cheyenne Bryant as an individual and any genuine efforts she has to positively impact people. Two, acknowledge the unhealthy and less than effective efforts she may be undertaking to protect her own credibility and livelihood. Three, acknowledge the potential damage of her protective efforts that can be held on the mental health field that many need and rely on to improve their lives. And most importantly, be able to listen to controversy, see the pros and the cons, and not fall into the easy trap of blindly defending or piling on a bandwagon of hate. Personally, I'm glad that I've had healthy examples of humble confidence to model professionally, helping me see that while many of the insights that I have to share therapeutically were earned in academia, many were also learned from my unique offerings and experiences, as do many professionals. I also have a mental health license, not because that's what makes me smart, but because it is what's needed to provide the quality care that I want to provide in a certain way, respecting the standards by which I'm bound in the process. Whether it be Cheyenne Bryant or anyone else you know, be open to knowledge, wisdom, and insight coming from a variety of perspectives. When needed, explore the source of those offerings. When not needed, take it all with a grain of salt and determine for yourself what impact you'll allow it to have on your life. And while there may be a history of cultural cautions in certain fields like mental health, and recent experiences exacerbating those cautions, I encourage you to evaluate each person and professional you encounter one experience at a time. If done well, I trust that you'll be pleasantly surprised by the variety of insights you will encounter and the impact each can have on your efforts to live your best life one day at a time. And with that, I'll say thanks again for listening to today's Diversity Dude podcast. If you found it positive and insightful, then be sure to like and subscribe so I'll know which topics you'd like me to share on more in the future, and share with a friend so that they can be encouraged as well. And find out how you can cultivate a culturally safe work environment for you and your team by visiting lambertsfisher.com/playbook for a free guide. You can also learn more about my award winning book, Diversity in Clinical Practice, offering unique ways to positively address the often divisive topic of diversity, equipping helping professionals like you in your efforts to meet the greatest variety of cultural needs possible for those whom you serve. And if you haven't heard it yet, I invite you to visit TED.com and check out my talk called What to Do When You Offend Someone, where I offer a positive and practical perspective on how to navigate unintentional offenses in daily life. To date, it's been viewed over 500,000 times. Check it out for yourself, and if you find it encouraging, share it with a friend so that they can be encouraged as well. And as usual, I look forward to addressing as many topics as possible in future podcasts to help you improve as many relationships as possible at work, at home, and in your community. And as always, remember this: You don't need to know everything about everyone in order to have a positive impact on someone. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a great day.
Tune in each week and find out how to demand and implement diversity at your job. To hear more, check out previous Diversity Dude shows on ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
When she walked in on her first day at Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas, she didn't know a soul.
I'm Zion, and I'm a second year at DFC.
A year later, and so many changes for Zion.
I love my friends here. I couldn't do anything without them. We support each other all the time.
At Doherty Family College, Zion also finds support on the academic side. Like all DFC students, Zion can count on a team committed to her success. Doherty Family College is Minnesota's affordable private college option. DFC students earn their associate's degree and then can transition to a 4-year college or university for their bachelor's. Many are students of color or first in their family to go to college.
It's nice to see people that look like you pursuing an education, wanting to succeed academically.
Zion encourages any high school student looking for a college home to do what she did and apply to Doherty Family College.
All the support you could need is here.
Ready to make your move and experience Doherty Family College for yourself? Then schedule your visit to the Minneapolis campus at dfc.stthomas.edu/visit.
Welcome to Old National Bank.
I understand you're all about protection.
Well, we protect you in all kinds of ways, with advanced fraud monitoring and secure digital banking to protect you today, and with dedicated personal bankers to protect your tomorrow.
I'm impressed.
Protection for today and tomorrow.
Could I just...
Oh, go for it.
Old National Bank. Just another reason to get old.
Where'd you get this?
It came with my couch.
Hi. It's easy to just make an ad that tells you to quit smoking. See?
Action!
Easy as that!
Sure is! Yeah!
But let's be real. Quitting is hard. It's messy, frustrating, but every struggle is actually a victory. At Quit Partner, you get free tools from people who get it. We're not going to tell you it's easy, just that when you're ready, you've got a partner to help you get it done.